You know that feeling? You've read tons of articles, maybe even a whole book on getting ahead, on personal growth. You highlight stuff, you make notes, but then, well, how do you actually apply it?
Hmm.
How do you get that aha moment that really changes things, that makes you do something different?
Absolutely. It's that gap between knowing and doing.
Exactly. So today, we're aiming to cut through all that noise. We want to get right to the actionable heart of, honestly, one of the most influential books ever on achievement.
And that's The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
That's the one.
What's really fascinating here, and maybe a bit counterintuitive, is that it's not about just cramming more facts into your head
Yeah.
or having a super high IQ.
Right.
This deep dive really challenges us, challenges you to rethink what actually drives success. We're going to unpack this core idea that how you think, the scale of your thinking, is way more important than what you currently have, like money or connections.
So our mission today, really, is to boil down the most crucial bits from this book. Give you a kind of shortcut to being informed, sure, but more importantly, ready to take action. Action ready.
And it kicks off with this great question, what's the secret behind those really exceptional people? The book tells this story about an executive puzzling over this guy named Harry.
Oh yeah, Harry.
Harry earned 5 times the average salary. But the thing was, he wasn't 5 times smarter. He didn't work 5 times harder, didn't have a better sales territory, didn't have more education. By all standard metrics, he was pretty average. Except for one thing,
Yep.
one critical difference.
And that one thing is what we're diving into. It's this idea that the size of your thinking literally sets the ceiling for the size of your accomplishments. So let's unpack that foundation.
Okay, so the absolute core message is profound, but it's also pretty simple. Believe you can succeed, and you will.
Now that sounds a bit like wishful thinking initially, doesn't it?
It does, but Schwartz argues it's not just wishing, it's about belief as, like an activation switch. It generates the power, the skill, the energy needed to actually act. He brings up the quote, faith can move mountains, and he clarifies it. True belief, that solid I'm positive I can attitude, automatically starts to figure out the how to do it. You don't need the full plan first.
Yeah.
The belief starts building the plan.
Okay, that's where it gets really interesting for me. The how-to emerging from the belief. And the book has this amazing example, right? The young woman starting a mobile home sales agency.
Yeah, that one's powerful.
Everyone told her she was crazy. She had, what, less than $3,000? Needed way more. The market was super competitive, and she had zero experience. Zero.
Right, all the sensible advice said don't do it.
But she believed she could. Absolutely believed it. And that belief, that conviction, it wasn't just internal. It actually convinced investors. It even got a major trailer manufacturer to give her inventory with no money down. And last year, the book says she sold over $1 million worth of trailers. It wasn't the money that started it. The belief created the conditions for the money.
And if you flip that coin, disbelief is just as powerful, but in a negative way. When your mind doubts, when it says, I can't, it actually starts hunting for reasons to support that doubt.
Confirmation bias for failure.
Exactly. That whole, okay, I'll give it a try, but I don't think it will work thing, it's practically programming yourself for failure. Your internal dialogue becomes your worst enemy if you let it.
So what this really means for you, listening, is it's about where you focus your mental energy. It's not about ignoring problems, but about cultivating that genuine, sincere belief as the starting block, your launch pad.
Right. And once you've got that belief firing, the next big obstacle Schwartz identifies is what he calls excusitis.
Excusitis. Sounds nasty.
It is. He calls it a mind-deadening thought disease. Every failure, he says, has an advanced case, and most average people have at least a mild dose.
So it's the tendency to make excuses.
Precisely. It lets people justify staying put, rationalize mediocrity with all sorts of alibis. My health isn't good enough, I don't have the education, I'm too old, too young, just bad luck.
Okay, let's break those down. The book highlights 4 main types, right? And how to fight them. First one, health excusitis.
Yeah. He tells this story of 2 guys in Cleveland. One was always worried, maybe something was wrong, maybe not. But the worry itself was defeating him.
Paralyzed by what ifs.
Exactly. The other guy, he just had major heart surgery, literally had a ticking valve in his chest. But he was incredibly optimistic, had big plans, was studying law, excited about the future.
Wow. So the difference wasn't the physical reality?
No, it was how they thought about their health. their attitude towards it. There's also that quote from the one-armed golfer.
Oh, I remember that. The right attitude and one arm will beat the wrong attitude and two arms every time.
Powerful, isn't it? It shows it's less about the condition itself and more about your mental response to it. You get to choose, as Schwartz puts it, to live until I die, rather than letting fear of dying cripple your living.
Okay, next excuse. Intelligence excusitis. This one really hit me. The idea that the thinking that guides your intelligence is way more important than just how much raw IQ you have.
Absolutely. We all know people who are brilliant on paper but kind of flounder in life, right?
Yeah.
The book mentions a guy, Chuck, top of his class, honors graduate, but his less academic friends ended up being much more successful.
Why is that, according to Schwartz?
These guys like Einstein didn't necessarily know trivia, like how many feet are in a mile.
Yeah.
And Henry Ford famously said he could find someone who did know in 5 minutes. Their strength wasn't being a warehouse for facts.
Right.
It was using their minds for thinking, for
Right.
creating, for solving problems, not just recalling data.
So the question for you is, are you using your brain power to make things happen to create,
Yeah.
or just to kind of keep score of what others are doing?
Yeah. Are you an architect or an archivist?
Yep.
It's a great challenge.
Okay, third one, age excusitis. This works both ways, doesn't it? Too old or too young?
It does. He talks about Cecil, 40 years old, feeling like his career chances were over, too old to start something new.
A lot of people feel that at 40.
For sure. But then Cecil actually sat down and calculated his remaining productive years. He realized he likely still had 60% of his working life ahead of him.
That reframes things significantly.
Totally. Or Bill, who at 51 completely changed gears, went to Harvard, became a college professor. Age wasn't the barrier. The idea of age was the barrier.
So it's your attitude toward age that makes it a resource or a roadblock.
Exactly. How old you are is just a number. How you think about that number is everything.
And the last big one, luck excusitis. Blaming bad luck for failure or crediting good luck for success.
Schwartz pretty much dismisses luck as a primary factor. He uses the example of a salesman landing a huge $112,000 order. People called him lucky.
But he wasn't just lucky, was he?
Not at all. Turns out he'd been cultivating that client for months, spending nights figuring out specific solutions for their needs. It wasn't luck. It was, and I quote, carefully planned work and patiently executed plans.
So when things go wrong,
Don't blame luck. Dig into it. Figure out what went wrong, learn the lesson, and use that knowledge to push forward. Turn setbacks into fuel.
Okay, so we've tackled belief. We've vaccinated against the major excuses. What's next? Because just not making excuses isn't enough.
Right, even close. That just clears the runway. The plane still needs to take off. And that takes what the book calls the action habit.
The action habit. I like that.
Yeah. Ideas are great, inspiration is great, but they're worthless without action. He basically divides people into two groups. Activationists, the doers, the successful ones, and passivationists. The passive ones, the average, the non-doers who just sort of wait.
Wait for what?
Wait for conditions to be perfect, which, as the book points out, means waiting forever.
Ouch. That sounds familiar.
Right. He gives these slightly sad examples, like GN, who never married because he needed everything to be absolutely perfect first. Or CD, who had a fantastic business idea but kept tweaking it, waiting for the perfect launch. And eventually the idea just died.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, JM, just a regular guy with a modest income, acted. He wanted a new house, so he asked his boss for extra work to earn the down payment. That action led to more opportunities, big rewards. The key was starting, even imperfectly.
So this connects right back to you listening. Are there ideas sitting on your shelf gathering dust because you're waiting for the stars to align perfectly?
The book's wisdom here is so critical. Action feeds confidence. Inaction feeds fear. Always.
It's like the paratrooper instructor saying the jump itself isn't the hard part.
It's the waiting to jump that gets a fellow.
Exactly. Even for small things like doing the dishes, the advice is just start. Mechanically. Don't deliberate. Just begin the motion. The momentum builds from there.
The doing comes before the feeling of wanting to do it. Precisely. So here's a challenge from the book, directly for you. What's one thing you know you should do that you keep putting off? Try tackling it mechanically. Right now, or as soon as possible, just start.
Okay, action is key. What other tools do big thinkers use? Let's talk about communication. The book mentions a big thinker's vocabulary.
Yeah, this is fascinating. It's about recognizing that your words create mental images, little movies, in other people's minds and in your own.
So instead of saying, we face a problem,
You say, we face a challenge, instead of, I'm sorry we fail.
you say,
Here's a new approach that I think will work. It reframes the situation positively, focuses on solutions.
Is this just about sounding positive, though? Like positive spin?
Schwartz argues it's much deeper than that, using big, positive, cheerful words like genuinely responding, just wonderful. When someone asks how you are, even if you're just okay, it actually starts to shape your reality. It influences how you feel, and definitely how others perceive and react to you. Complimenting people sincerely, outlining plans, using optimistic language like, here's some good news, or we have a real opportunity here.
Yeah.
It draws people in, builds energy.
Okay, words shape perception. What about visualization?
Huge. Visualize what can be, not just what is. He tells the story of the real estate salesman who sold farms for top dollar.
How did he do it? They were just regular farms, right?
Yeah, but he didn't just show the farm as it was. He presented buyers with concrete plans, drawings, ideas for what the farm could become. He sold the potential.
Ah, selling the vision.
Exactly. Contrast that with the blind milkman story, a guy who missed a massive opportunity because he couldn't see the potential for growth, the future demand for milk in his area. He only saw the present.
So it's about adding value, seeing potential.
In things, in people, and importantly in yourself. The book suggests asking yourself daily, what can I do to make myself more valuable today? And visualizing yourself not just as you are now, but as the person you can become.
Like Harry the accountant.
Exactly. Knew nothing about printing initially, but by taking a sincere interest, looking for ways to add value everywhere, he eventually became company president. He saw himself and acted as more than just an accountant.
So thinking big isn't just dreaming big, it's seeing potential and then acting to realize it, using positive language along the way.
You got it. It's a whole system.
Okay, this naturally leads into the environment, doesn't it? Who and what we surround ourselves with.
Absolutely crucial. The book uses the analogy of food. Just like food shapes your body, your psychological environment shapes you, your personality, ambitions, current status. They're largely a product of that environment.
So you need to consciously manage it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Proactively. Schwartz warns strongly against what he calls negators.
Negators.
Yeah, those people who are always finding fault, always complaining, always pulling you down, like the example of the negative carpool buddy who just drains everyone's energy.
We all know people like that.
Right. The advice is clear. Minimize contact. Instead, actively seek out people who think progressively, people who are moving upward, and critically, make it a rule to seek advice from people who know.
Meaning successful people.
Yes. Get counsel from those who have achieved what you want to achieve, not from those who specialize in explaining why things can't be done.
And it's not just people, right? It's also about the quality of things you engage with.
That's the go first class rule. It applies to goods, services, experiences.
Yeah.
He tells the story about choosing a cheap, greasy spoon cafeteria.
Saving a few cents,
But having a depressing, low-quality experience that probably cost more in terms of mood and potential than the few cents saved. The idea is to develop an instinct for quality because, as the book says, in the long run, going first class actually costs you less. It elevates your standards and self-perception.
Okay, so curate your people, curate your environment. What about inner resources? Enthusiasm comes up a lot.
Yes, enthusiasm is presented as a powerful ally. And importantly, something you can develop. It's not just something you have or don't have.
How do you develop it?
With the dig into it deeper technique, find something you're not interested in, the example used as a greenhouse, and just start learning more about it. The deeper you dig, the more connections you find, the more enthusiasm naturally sparks.
Knowledge breeds enthusiasm.
Often, yes. And then you have to live it up. Act enthusiastic. Put energy into your handshake. Say good morning like you mean it. Walk with purpose and a smile. It's that act as if principle the action generates the feeling.
And that enthusiasm impacts how people see you, which connects to the next point, the you are important attitude.
This is huge for influence. People simply do more for you, respond better to you, when you make them feel genuinely important.
How do you do that authentically?
Simple things, mostly. Show sincere appreciation. Use people's names. Remember the elevator operator who only started using the host's name after getting a genuine compliment? Names are powerful.
Yeah, it makes people feel seen.
Exactly. And invest glory in others. Don't hog the credit, share praise. The book contrasts two managers. One shared praise with his team, investing it like seeds for future loyalty and effort. The other kept all the glory for himself and got mediocre results.
So giving credit pays dividends.
Immense dividends. It ties into the service-first attitude. Think big about service. The example of the gas station attendant who cleaned the inside of the windshield unasked. That creates money seeds. Little acts of unexpected value that build massive goodwill and future business.
These aren't grand gestures, but they add up to create a powerful, positive environment around you.
Precisely. They're practical tools for building influence and attracting success.
Okay, let's talk leadership now, through this thinking big lens. Success isn't solo, right?
Never. The book emphasizes that success absolutely depends on the support of other people. You don't get pulled up to the next level. You get lifted up by the people around you, below you, who see you as competent, likable, and worth supporting.
So how do you gain that support? What are the leadership rules?
One big one is trade minds with the people you want to influence.
Trade minds, like put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly, but deeply. Really consider their perspective. What are their interests, their income level, their background, their worries, their hopes? He gives the example of Ted, the ad exec, whose shoe ads bombed
Why?
because he designed them based on his sophisticated tastes, not the tastes of the mass market he was trying to reach. He didn't trade lines. Same with a politician who used vocabulary. Only a tiny fraction of voters understood he lost touch.
So it's strategic empathy, really.
That's a great way to put it. It's not manipulation. It's genuine understanding to build connection. And it pairs with the be human approach.
Being human. Sounds basic.
It is, but it's often overlooked. Treat everyone with dignity. Show genuine interest, even in tough situations like firing someone. The example of John S., who helped a dismissed employee find a more suitable job, that's thinking big, turning a negative into a positive, maintaining respect.
So the challenge for you listening is, how can you show more genuine interest and empathy in your interactions today? With colleagues, family, even the cashier at the store.
Right. Every interaction is an opportunity.
Right.
And leaders, according to Schwartz, constantly think progress, believe in progress, push for progress.
And I can do better attitude.
Always, in everything.
Yeah.
Like the hardware store owner holding weekly improvement meetings, always asking, how can we do better? How can we attract more customers? Never being satisfied with the status quo.
And there's one more leadership tool mentioned, kind of a counterintuitive one.
Yes. Solitude, the secret weapon. Taking deliberate time out, alone, away from distractions to just think.
Super thinking, he calls it.
Yeah. It's where you piece things together, solve complex problems, plan strategically. Eisenhower did it. Roosevelt did it. Countless top executives schedule this dedicated thinking time. It's not idle time. It's highly productive.
So a practical tip for everyone. Block out maybe 30 minutes each day for quiet, uninterrupted thought.
It can make a huge difference. And all of this, the belief, the attitude, the action, the leadership, culminates in the need for goals.
Right. Goals tie it all together.
A goal isn't just a fuzzy dream. It's a dream being acted upon, a clear destination. The book really pushes you to visualize your future in detail work, home, personal growth, not just as it is, but as you want it to be.
Goals provide direction, like an autopilot.
Exactly. The comparison between Tom and Jack illustrates it perfectly. Tom, with a clear goal, had that internal guidance system making decisions easier, keeping him on track.
Yeah.
Jack, goalless, just drifted.
And the book makes a really striking claim about goals and longevity.
It does, citing Dr. George Birch, an expert on aging, who said, the quickest way to the end is to retire and do nothing. Having goals, having something you still want to do, is presented as more potent than medicine for extending life.
Like Mrs. D fighting cancer for 20 years.
Driven by the goal of seeing her son graduate college, that desire gave her strength beyond measure.
And achieving big goals isn't about one giant leap, is it?
No, it's the next mile principle. You get there step by step. Yeah. Focus on the immediate next action. Like Eric Severide writing 2,000 scripts, he didn't focus on the 2,000, he focused on writing the next one.
So break it down. Maybe create a 30-day improvement guide. Small, consistent steps.
Perfect. And underpinning all of this is the need to continuously invest in yourself.
Through education.
Yes, but broadly defined, not just diplomas. Anything that improves your thinking ability, expands your perspective. Reading, courses, talking to smart people, seeking out idea starters, like those business leaders taking evening classes not for a grade, but to build their minds. Continuous growth.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up, this whole deep dive into the magic of thinking big, it really hammers home that core idea. The size of your thinking truly dictates the size of your results.
Absolutely. We've seen how belief fuels action, how to beat excusitis, how vital attitudes like enthusiasm and service are, and the power of clear goals pursued step by step.
It really demystifies success, doesn't it? It's not about luck or genius nearly as much as it's about cultivated habits, conscious choices, and applying these principles deliberately.
You really do have the choice. You can choose to think bigger, to aim higher than mediocrity.
So the final question for you right now, what does this all mean for you? The book has this sobering reminder near the end.
Yeah, it points out that even in booming economies like the U.S. has often had, the majority of people still just kind of struggle along. They don't really achieve significant success despite the opportunity,
The majority of folks still plug along in mediocrity.
despite the record opportunity. It's a stark warning. Opportunity exists, but it doesn't automatically translate to success.
First Class Avenue, as the book calls it, is uncrowded.
It's waiting. The real question isn't, is there opportunity? It's, do you dare to think big enough to go after it?
Your future is waiting. How will you apply the magic of thinking big to your life starting today?